are biological catalysts and promote the rate of reactions, but are not themselves consumed during the reaction. Hence, they remain active and may be repeatedly used. However, in most processes, the enzymes get mixed with substrate and products and cannot be recovered after the reaction. The major incentive with immobilized enzymes is that, being in an insoluble form, the enzyme can be retained for further catalysis. The enzymes can also be used repetitively when packed in a bioreactor. Immobilized enzyme refers to enzymes physically confined or localized in a certain defined region or space with retention of their catalytic activities, and these can be repeatedly and continuously used. The introduction of immobilized enzymes has greatly improved both the technical performance of industrial processes as well as their economy. The major components of an immobilized enzyme system are the enzyme, the matrix, and the mode of attachment. The choice of enzyme depends upon their application, and the choice of matrix is important in determining the performance of the immobilized enzyme system. An ideal support should have some characteristic properties, including physical resistance to compression, hydrophilicity, inertness towards enzymes, biocompatibility, resistance to microbial attack, and availability at low cost. Now, let us discuss the supports or matrices used in immobilization technology. The matrix or support immobilizes the enzyme by holding it permanently or temporarily for a brief period of time. There are a wide variety of matrices or carriers or supports available for immobilization. The matrix used should be cheap and easily available. Their reaction with the components of the medium or with the enzyme should be minimum as possible. The matrices or supports for immobilization of enzymes or whole cells are grouped into three major categories. The natural polymers. Among these is alginate, which is a natural polymer derived from the cell wall of some algae. Calcium or magnesium alginate is the most commonly used matrix. They are inert and have good water holding capacity. Chitosan and chitin. They are structural polysaccharides occurring naturally in the cell wall of fungi and the exoskeleton of arthropods. The various functional groups in enzymes can bind to the hydroxyl group of chitin and can form covalent bonds. Collagen. It is the proteinaceous support with good porosity and water holding capacity. The side chains of the amino acids in the collagen and that of enzyme can form covalent bonds to permanently hold the enzyme to the support. Carrageenan. It is a sulfated polysaccharide obtained from some red algae. Their good gelling properties together with its high protein holding capacity makes it good support for immobilizing enzymes. Gelatin. Gelatin is partially hydrolyzed collagen with good water holding capacity. Cellulose. It is the most abundant polymer of nature and the cheapest support available as carrier of enzymes. The hydroxyl group of the monomeric units glucose can form covalent bonds with that of the amino acids of enzyme. Starch, a natural polymer of amylose and amylopectin. It has good water holding capacity. Pectin, it is a structural polysaccharide of plants found in their primary cell wall, and they also act as the intercellular cementing material in plant tissues. Pectin is a gelling agent with good water holding capacity. The second category is synthetic polymers. They are ion exchange resins or polymers and are insoluble supports with porous surface. Their porous surface can trap and hold the enzymes or whole cells. Example, diethyl aminoethyl cellulose, that is DEAE cellulose, polyvinyl chloride PVC, UV activated polyethylene glycol PEG. The third type is inorganic materials. Zeolite, they are microporous aluminosilicate minerals with good adsorbing properties and extensively used for immobilizing enzymes and whole cells. The ceramics, they are non-metallic solids consisting of metal and non-metal atoms held in ionic and covalent bonds. The composition and bonding pattern varies with different types. The diatomaceous earth, they are siliceous sedimentary rocks formed by fossilized accumulations of the cell wall of diatoms. Silite is the trade name of diatomaceous earth. It is a good adsorbent and are resistant to high pH and temperature. Some other inorganic materials are silica, glass, activated carbon and charcoal. The present module focuses on techniques used in enzyme immobilization. The methods used can be broadly categorized into two: irreversible methods and reversible methods. Let us discuss the irreversible enzyme immobilization methods. In this technique, once the biocatalyst is attached to the support, it cannot be detached without destroying either the biological activity of the enzyme or the support. The commonly used methods are covalent coupling, entrapment or microencapsulation and cross-linking. Let us discuss covalent bonding. The covalent bonds formed between enzymes are quite stable, hence they do not allow the enzyme to get released into the solution upon use. The covalent reactions commonly employed give rise to enzymes linked to the support through either amide, ether, thioether or carbamate bonds, because of which the enzyme is strongly bound to the matrix and is also stabilized. Lysine residues are the most useful in covalent bonding of enzymes, since they are usually exposed on the surface, are highly reactive and only very rarely occur at active site of enzymes. The polymers may be engaged in direct coupling as well as could be modified by other coupling groups or activating groups. The most commonly used polymers are polysaccharides like cellulose and agarose, polyacrylamide, collagen, gelatin, cyanogen bromide activated agarose and CNBr saccharose, polyvinyl alcohol, silica and porous glasses. Important functional groups of the enzyme that provide chemical groups to form covalent bonds with support or carrier are alpha carboxyl group at C terminal of enzyme, alpha amino group at N terminal of enzyme, epsilon amino groups of lysine and arginine in the enzyme, beta and gamma carboxyl groups of aspartate and glutamate, phenol ring of tyrosine, thiol group of cysteine, hydroxyl groups of serine and threonine, imidazole group of histidine, indole ring of tryptophan. Now, let us discuss the methods of covalent bonding. First is diazotation, in which there is bonding between amino group of support and tyrosyl or histidyl group of enzyme. Peptide bond formation between amino and carboxyl groups of the support and that of the enzyme. Polyfunctional reagents, in which a bifunctional or multifunctional reagent like glutyraldehyde forms covalent bonds between the amino group of the support and amino group of enzymes. There are some advantages of covalent bonding, like there is a strong linkage of enzyme to the support, hence there is no leakage or desorption problem. It is comparatively a simple method. A variety of available supports with different functional groups renders a wide applicability to this method. The disadvantages of covalent bonding: chemical modification of enzyme leads to the loss of functional conformation of enzyme, by which it becomes inactive. Only small amounts of enzymes may be immobilized, about 0.02 grams per gram of matrix. The next method is entrapment. In this method, the enzyme is included within a polymeric network through which substrate and product can pass through, but enzyme is retained. Here, the enzyme is not bound to the matrix or membrane, but they may be entrapped as in gel, fiber or capsule. There may or may not be covalent bond formation between the enzyme molecules and the matrix. When covalent binding is also to be generated, the enzyme molecules are usually treated with a suitable reagent. For example, acryloyl chloride is used to prepare lysine residues for binding by forming acryloyl amides. These are then copolymerized and cross-linked with acrylamide and bisacrylamide to form a gel containing the entrapped enzyme, which may be used to form small beads or a film on a solid support. The examples of commonly used matrices for entrapment are polyacrylamide gel, cellulose triacetate, agar, gelatin, carrageenan, alginate, etc. The methods of entrapment are inclusion in the gels, that is enzymes trapped inside the gels; inclusion in fibers, enzymes supported on fibers made of matrix material; or inclusion in microcapsules, that is enzymes entrapped in microcapsules formed by monomer mixtures such as polyamine and calcium alginate. The advantages of entrapment: loss of enzyme activity upon immobilization is minimized. Enzyme loading in the entrapment procedures is very high, 1 gram per gram of gel or fibers. Let us discuss the disadvantages of entrapment. The enzyme can leak into the surrounding medium. The substrate cannot diffuse deep into the gel matrix. The diffusion of the substrate to the enzyme and of the product away from the enzyme creates difficulties. Entrapment is the method of choice for immobilization of microbial, animal and plant cells where calcium alginate is widely used. Another method is cross-linking. This method is based on the formation of covalent bonds between the enzyme molecules by means of multifunctional reagents, leading to three-dimensional cross-linked aggregates. This method is also called copolymerization. Unlike other methods, there is no matrix or support involved in this method. The commonly used polyfunctional reagents are glutaraldehyde and diazonium salts. Now, let us talk about the advantages of cross-linking. This method is widely used in commercial preparations and industrial applications. Very little desorption occurs, that is, the enzyme is strongly bound to the support. It is best used in conjunction with other methods. The disadvantages of cross-linking: cross-linking may cause significant changes in the active site, hence leads to inactivation of enzyme. Another method is encapsulation. This type of immobilization is done by enclosing the enzymes in a membrane capsule. The capsule will be made up of semi-permeable membrane like nitrocellulose or nylon. In this method, the effectiveness depends upon the stability of enzymes inside the capsule. The advantages of encapsulation: it is cheap and simple method. Large quantity of enzymes can be immobilized by encapsulation. The disadvantages: there is limitation of pore size, hence only small substrate molecule is able to cross the membrane. Another broad category is reversible immobilization. The enzyme support binding is reversible, hence the reversible immobilized enzymes can be detached from the support even under gentle conditions. The reversible methods are economically very attractive because when the enzyme activity decays, the support can be regenerated and reloaded with fresh enzyme. The cost of the support is a primary factor in the overall cost of immobilized catalyst. This method is particularly important for immobilizing labile enzymes and for applications in bioanalytical systems. A few reversible immobilization methods are adsorption or non-covalent interactions. Non-specific adsorption is the simplest immobilization method and is mainly based on physical adsorption or ionic binding. Examples of suitable adsorbents are ion exchange matrices, porous carbon, clay, hydrous metal oxides, glasses and polymeric aromatic resins. In physical adsorption, the enzymes are attached to the matrix through hydrogen bonding, van der Waals forces or hydrophobic interactions. The forces involved in non-covalent immobilization can be reversed by changing the conditions that influence the strength of the interaction, mainly pH, ionic strength, temperature or polarity of the solvent. The binding of enzyme molecules to the carrier matrix is usually very strong, but it may be weakened during use by many factors, example addition of substrate, pH or ionic strength. Therefore, the matrix should be carefully chosen keeping these factors in mind. Some of the commonly used matrices are ion exchange matrices, porous carbon, clays, hydrous metal oxides, glasses and polymeric aromatic resins. Ion exchange matrices are costly, but they can be readily regenerated at the end of active life of the adsorbed enzyme by a simple operation. Example, washing off the adsorbed enzyme with a concentrated salt solution. Let us talk about the advantages of adsorption. Adsorption is a mild, easy to perform process and preserves the catalytic activity of the enzyme as there is little or no conformational change in the enzyme. Very few reagents are required. Activation steps are not required. This method is widely applicable and capable of high enzyme loading. Although economically sound, this method suffers from problems such as enzyme leakage from the matrix if the interactions are weak or due to changes in temperature, pH and ionic strength. Ionic bonding. In this method, the enzymes are bound through salt linkages. This method is simple and reversible, but it is difficult to find conditions under which the enzyme remains strongly bound and fully active. Since the support as well as the substrate or products are highly charged, the kinetics is distorted as a result of partition or diffusion phenomenon. Hence, enzyme properties like pH optima or pH stability may change. To overcome this, the optimal conditions of the enzyme can be shifted to more alkaline or acidic conditions depending upon the application. Under standardized conditions, polyethylenimine is used to bind a rich variety of enzymes and whole cells. The next method is hydrophobic adsorption. In this method, entropically driven interactions take place and depend upon variables like pH, salt concentration and temperature. The strength of interaction depends upon the hydrophobicity of both the adsorbent and the protein. The hydrophobicity of the adsorbent can be controlled by the degree of substitution of the support and also by the size of hydrophobic ligand molecule. The most common example is the reversible immobilization of beta amylase and amyloglucosidase to hexyl agarose carriers. Another method is affinity binding. The principle of affinity between complementary biomolecules has been employed in enzyme immobilization. Affinity immobilization can be carried out by two methods. In the first method, the support material containing the coupled affinity ligand is activated, to which the enzyme is added. Here, the enzyme is not exposed to any harsh chemical condition. In the other method, the enzyme is modified to another molecule which has the ability to bind towards a matrix. The metal ion immobilization. In this technique, metal salts are precipitated over the surface of the carriers. These bind to nucleophilic group on the matrix. The activity of the immobilized enzyme is high, 30 to 80%. The carrier and the enzyme can be separated by decreasing the pH. Now, let us talk about immobilization of whole cells. The immobilization of whole cells is an alternative to enzyme immobilization, and it is a well developed method for the utilization of enzymes from microbes. Immobilization of whole cells becomes particularly effective when the individual enzymes become inactive during direct immobilization, or the isolation and purification of enzyme is not cost effective. The greatest advantage of whole cell immobilization is that here the enzymes will be active and stable for long period of time, since they are in their natural environment. Use of immobilized cells for fermentation is a very old practice. Bacteria or yeast cells are immobilized by adsorbing it on wood chips. This is practiced for different types of fermentations. The methods of immobilization of whole cells include adsorption, covalent bonding, cell to cell cross linking, encapsulation and entrapment. The advantages of whole cell immobilization: multiple enzymes can be introduced in a single step. Extraction and purification of enzymes is not required. Enzymes are stable for a long time. The native conformation of enzyme is best maintained. Cell organelles like mitochondria and chloroplast can also be immobilized. It is a cost effective method. Now, let us talk about few disadvantages of whole cell immobilization. The concentration of enzyme becomes less. Production of unwanted enzymes and unwanted products also occurs. Modification of end products occurs by other enzymes produced by immobilized cells. Applications of immobilized enzymes in commercial production. First, biomedical applications. Immobilized enzymes are used in diagnosis and treatment of diseases in medical field. They are used in the form of biomaterials in tissue engineering applications for repair of defects. Immobilized urease reactors are used in various medical applications, including urea content analysis in blood, urine, alcoholic beverages, natural water and environmental wastewaters, analysis of heavy metal content in natural waters, wastewaters and soil, determination of creatinine, arginine and IgG, urea removal from artificial kidney dialysates, alcohol beverages and fertilizer wastewaters. In food industry, the immobilized enzymes are used in production of syrups, confectioneries and ice creams. Immobilized beta galactosidase is used for lactose hydrolysis in whey for production of baker's yeast. High fructose syrup can be produced from glucose by employing an immobilized enzyme glucose isomerase. L-amino acids are used in food and feed industry. The immobilized enzyme aminoacylase immobilized on DEAE Safedex can selectively hydrolyze D-L-acyl amino acid to produce L-amino acids. In biodiesel production, biodiesel is monoalkyl esters of long chain fatty acids and are produced from triglycerides with esterification of alcohol using immobilized lipase. In wastewater treatment, the immobilized enzymes used are horseradish peroxidase, lacase and azoreductase, which can degrade the dye anthracenoid dye, lancet blue and ponsue red. In textile industry, the enzymes cellulase, amylase, lipase, pectinase, cutinase are used in various textile applications such as scouring, biopolishing, desizing, denim finishing, treating wool, etc. In detergent industry, immobilized protease is used to remove the stains of blood, egg, grass and human sweat. Amylase is used to remove starch based stains like potatoes, gravies and chocolates. Lipase is used to remove stains of oils and fats in cuffs and collars. Cellulase is used in cotton based fabrics to improve softening, color brightening and removal of soil stains. In production of antibiotics, the antibiotic penicillin can be produced by using an immobilized enzyme and penicillin production cultures by fermentation. Immobilized cell and enzyme cultures can also produce other antibiotics like ampicillin, bacitracin, amoxicillin, tylosin and nicomycin. In production of other important products, the immobilized enzymes are also used for production of several commercially important products like steroids, organic acids such as malic acid and lactic acid. Immobilized enzymes are employed for production of coenzyme A and anthraquinones by de novo synthesis. Immobilized enzymes can also be used for production of prostaglandins, proinsulin, etc. In conclusion, enzyme immobilization is one of the most promising approaches for exploiting enzyme based processes in biotransformation, diagnostics, pharmaceutical, bioremediation, textile and food industries. This method is used because of its technical and economical advantage. Large number of enzymes have been immobilized and used in various large scale processes. This stabilization method can lower the cost of the enzymes as it provides operational stability and reusability to enzymes.